I'm going to show you how to write a couple of programs before the course is over. Some a little bit more complicated. Some crazy. Anyway, so hit the program key. If this is your first time using the graphing calculator, like you bought it brand new and you opened it up, this should be blank. If you bought it from somebody else, it might be filled to the brim, but we can work around that. We're going to go over to new. All right. We don't have any programs to execute yet, so we want to write a brand new one. Create new. So I think you have like 6 or 7 characters to work with when you're writing a name. So obviously I can't write, if I only have 6 or 7 characters, I can't write quadratic formula. So it's got to be something shorter, like QF or quad form or something like that. Whatever will fit. So I'm going QF. Make sure it's exactly the way you want it to look before hitting enter. There is a way to change it if you screw it up, if you screw up the name, but it's not easy. So you don't want to be in that position. And even worse for me, I don't want to be in a position where I'm staring at a stupid name that I just didn't have the patience to like take an extra second to make sure I spelled right. So enter. Right. I'm going to hit the mode key. In a lot of cases when you're writing a program, you want your calculator to be in a particular mode. So when you hit the mode key, it's blank because you can select all the mode settings that you want to have in place specific to your program. So if you need it to be in degree mode or function mode or something like that, by selecting it in this menu, it'll enable it in the program. What I need is A plus BI. So I'm going to go down to A plus BI and hit enter. And that's because when you use a quadratic formula, you get decimal answers, yeah, but you could also get imaginary answers. That's a possibility, so we want to allow for that. All right. So this, if you have an imaginary answer, it's not going to give you an error. It'll give you an answer back in terms of I. All right. So hit enter to lock that in. I want the calculator to know the coefficients that I have in my polynomial, so the A, B, and C values. In order to do that, I have to set up a prompt. Right? Well, that's one way to do it anyway. So program, IO for input output, prompt option 2. So I'm going to have the calculator prompt the A value, B value, and C values. You see above math, apps, and program in green, it has A, B, and C. That's telling me that if I hit the alpha key and then math, it'll bring up the A. Then I'm going to hit the comma key. All right? So the comma key is so important that it has its own key. So it's hidden in plain sight. So if you spend half an hour looking for the comma key, it's because you're probably looking in the background when it's its own key. Right? Alpha apps to get the B, comma, right above that 7, alpha program to get the C, and then hit enter. So if I run the program now, what it's going to do is it's going to ask me what the A value is, the B value is, and the C value. I'll tell it, but then it's going to do nothing because I haven't told it to do it. Right? Now is where I'm going to tell it to do something. I wanted to apply the quadratic formula to the A, B, and C values that I tell it. So open parentheses. If you're going to make a mistake in this program that causes an error, it's either going to happen right here or it's going to happen in about 2 minutes. Negative. Not the minus sign, the negative sign. All right, so it's the negative key. The one right next to the decimal, not the operation of minus. Negative B. There is no plus or minus functionality on these calculators, so you can't, there's no button that has both a plus and minus symbol on it, so we have to do it separately. So I'm going to use the minus key now. The square root of B, so alpha apps for the B, squared minus or alpha math for the A, alpha program for the C. Just be careful with your order of operations. These calculators know it better than we do. So you forget parentheses somewhere, it's going to let you know. It's either going to let you know with the wrong answer, which is the most painful lesson, or it lets you know with an error message, which is not the worst thing in the world, but you still don't like it. So I'm going to close parentheses here for the radical, and I'm going to close parentheses for this entire expression. Then I'm going to divide by 2a. So open parentheses. This is where the second mistake occurs when people screw this up. It's because of this negative symbol and because people don't put parentheses around the 2a.
You want to divide, so you don't put the division?
I use the division symbol, yeah. So after I close the parentheses twice, I hit the division key, and then in parentheses 2a. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. It looked great on my screen. No, it's still not quite. There we go. All right, now if I run the program, and again, programs are very literal. They don't assume anything. You plugged in all these values. It ran this calculation, but at no point did you tell the calculator to tell you the answer. All right, so it's kind of like it's purposely being difficult with you, but if you don't tell it to give you the answer, then you have a problem. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to store this in as a dummy variable. All right, the store key, STO, with the sideways arrow, right above on, you're going to hit that. That brings up just the sideways arrow in your program. We're going to store that in as D. So alpha matrix. And then hit enter. So again, that sideways arrow comes from right here. It stores it in as D. So if I ever hit D on my home screen, it'll bring up whatever the result is of this calculation. Okay. There's only one part of the quadratic formula though, because it's negative e plus or minus, right? So I get to type in all this stuff again, but with a plus sign here. So remember, negative in front of the b, parentheses around the 2x. Those are the two key ingredients there. So open paren, negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac. Right, so same exact line, just with a plus sign instead of a minus sign. Close parens twice, divided by 2a. Just don't hit clear. Because I know what that sound is. Either that or your battery's just completely dead. Oh, okay. Just quit out of there so I can move it. Just taking care of my screen. And go to program. No problem. Yeah, as long as you don't hit clear when you're in the program editor, everything else you can recover from. It wipes out the entire line. So if it's a really elaborate line, there's no undo buttons in these calculators. So yeah, you can reproduce this, but it doesn't feel too good to have to do it. You know, I'm going to store this in as E. So STO, that key right above on, store it in as E. And then hit enter. Still have not told the calculator to tell anybody the answer. All right. So all it's done is it's stored it in as D and E. Now, if you happen to know that D and E represent the answers, so you could actually just type in E, D or E in your home screen, and it'll produce the answer for you. But you want the calculator to just get to the point and tell you the answer. So what we do is we go to Program, I/O, input. We've done all the inputs, so let's do an output. Display, option 3. So program over to IO, option 3, display. And you can put a string of characters if you want, but we could just kind of cut to the chase, because if you're using a quadratic formula program, you know you're looking for roots. So alpha D, comma, alpha E. So alpha matrix, inverse, sorry, and alpha sign to get the D. So now your program's good to go. If you've done all that stuff, quit out of here. Second mode to quit, so don't hit clear. Second mode to quit. There is no save button. Right? So there's no undo, there's no open, there's no save. There is edit, but that's about it. All right? By quitting out of there, you've locked in all your changes. So now, if I run the program, in theory, it should give me the roots for whatever quadratic I put in. So I'm going to go to Program. I have a program now to run, my program QF, in the Execute menu. So Enter, or hit the number 1. It brings up Program QF. Enter again to get it started. I'll do x squared, I'll do something imaginary, x squared plus 4. All right, so that would be a coefficient of 1, 0, 4. Let's see what it comes up with. That's true, negative 2i and positive 2i. The problem that we just did had negative 16, 64, and 80. So program, or you can just hit enter if you want, but program QF, enter negative 16 for the A value, 64 for the B value, 80 for the C value, 5 and negative 1. All right. It's not an algebra course. You know, you don't lose a ton of points for making a simple algebra mistake, but you don't impress anyone either. You know, so it's not like, oh wow, great algebra there, plus 20. You know, like it doesn't work that way. So if you can get around the rote algebra by using a calculator resource, that's encouraged. At least I know there's plenty of people out there that are going to be sticklers. I mean, you turn around, you get into a Calc 3 class, and it's not me teaching it. It can very quickly shift back the other way, where they're like, "What the hell do you think you're doing using a calculator? That's not math." You know. So, but enjoy it while it lasts. At the minimum, yes. But also, people have told me that being savvy with the calculator allows them to maybe get away with using a calculator where they might not otherwise be able to. Like, they would know more about how to use a calculator than the teacher themselves. And so they'd be like, oh yeah, could I use this TI-83? They're like, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. TI-83, is that a good calculator? I have no idea. And so you're using it to the fullest potential, and the teacher is none the wiser. So that was like me for the first 10 years of my career.